In South Africa, there are boundaries not born to divide, but to turn every journey into a dialogue with courage. From its wide-open horizons, nature appears like an invitation, where freedom and instinct move together in every rhythm of life. In lands that do not gently shelter life, every creature must turn instinct into strength to continue through hardship. That very harshness does not only preserve the primal traces of nature, but also nurtures resilient rhythms of life across generations. Today, we will step into a journey through South Africa, where wild beauty, courage, and human life open deeper stories beyond the horizon. Hole in the Wall stands firmly along South Africa's wild coast, distinguished by an ancient rock mass pierced through to form a gigantic natural gateway. This mudstone and sandstone mass is about 280 million years old, enduring the constant assault of powerful ocean waves across the ages. Rising about 130 feet high, this natural structure matches a 13-story building, standing boldly above the white bands of the Indian Ocean. Waves crash through the opening, the sound rolls like thunder, and can be heard clearly from thousands of feet away across the coast. Local legend says, mythical beings rammed through the cliff so a young seaman could bring his human lover down into the underwater world. Here, a river flows from inland through rocky gaps and meets the sea directly beneath the stone gate, creating a ribbon of water. The Drakensberg Mountains standing guard at the border of South Africa and Lesotho take the shape of a massive stone dragon sleeping amid the vast wilderness. With a total length of over 600 miles, this cliff acts like a great defensive wall surrounding and protecting the entire interior of the continent. The geological structure here is incredibly strange, with a black basalt layer 4,600 feet thick, resting atop golden sandstone blocks bright as honey. This mountain region possesses over 35,000 ancient rock paintings, creating an outdoor art exhibition system with the largest overall scale in the entire world. Waterfalls plunging from heights of several thousand feet transform this place into a massive water tower, providing life for the most major rivers in the region. Within the sandstone cliffs, fossilized dinosaur footprints still remain clearly printed on the ground, with a size equivalent to the tire of a large commercial truck. Located in the lush Mpumalanga region of South Africa Blyde River, Canyon emerges as a massive gash of nature with vibrant vegetation covering the steep cliffs. With a total length of about 16 miles, this is the largest green canyon worldwide, differing completely from the arid Grand Canyon in America. Those vertical cliffs stand approximately 2,600 feet high, equaling the height of two Burj Khalifa towers, stacked together within the eternal wilderness. The geological system here was formed 200 million years ago, containing ancient traces from when the supercontinent Gondwana first began to break apart. The name of this landmark signifies the River of Joy associated with the historical reunion story of an expedition team back in 1844. Deep within the abyss, rushing waters have eroded sandstone into giant circular holes like the pots of gods amidst the untouched and wild natural landscape. Tugela Falls hides within the mighty Drakensberg Mountains, where a vast ribbon of water drops from a sheer basalt escarpment stretching about 3 miles. With a total height of about 3,100 feet, this giant waterfall rises roughly 18 times higher than Niagara Falls on the border of America and Canada. The water does not fall in one straight drop, but descends across 5 rocky steps, forming a chain of white cascades hanging high above the mountain. To touch the water near its source, visitors must climb steep iron ladders rising more than 100 feet along the exposed cliff face. Small pools at the top allow people to sit beside the edge of a drop nearly 3,300 feet deep in wild, open nature. If an Olympic-sized swimming pool were emptied from the summit, all that water would plunge into the abyss in less than 2 seconds. Storm's river mouth is the starting point of the Otter Trail, which is one of the most famous and desirable trekking routes in South Africa. The beauty here is the meeting point between deep green forests, dark black-blue river water, and the fierce white foam of the crashing ocean waves. The suspension bridge at Storms River mouth has become a famous tourist icon thanks to its unique position between the deep canyon and the ocean. Measuring 253 feet long, every step on the bridge feels like walking on a thin thread stretched between the land and the sea. This is where you can spot dolphins and southern right whales, seasonally making the already beautiful coastline feel even more vibrant and truly alive. Moving along the rocky paths near the water requires maximum caution because strong waves easily make the stone surfaces extremely slippery and dangerous. Neisner Heads stands at the ocean gateway of the Garden Route, where twin sandstone cliffs rise like eternal guardians watching over the narrow sea entrance. When white-capped waves slam against the rock walls, the spray can rise about 70 feet, equal to the height of a 6-story building. This landmark is considered one of the most dangerous sea entrances in the world, and it has sunk dozens of exploration ships throughout naval history. During every incoming tide, the water rushing through this narrow channel reaches about 10 times the volume of the region's largest reservoirs. Salt crystals, clinging to the burnt golden sandstone, sparkle brightly, making the cliffs appear covered with millions of diamonds scattered across the surface. If all the stone here were gathered together, people could build a rocky path stretching from the seafloor all the way to Mount Everest. Tsitsikamma Coastal Park runs along South Africa's coastline, where dense ancient forests descend directly towards sheer ocean cliffs above the vast waters of the south. Suspension bridges, about 250 feet long, carry visitors through open air, hanging high above powerful waves that crash continuously against the rocky shore. River water flowing into the sea shows a reddish-brown color because it absorbs tannin, released by fallen leaves decomposing in the old forest over centuries. Ancient trees here rise about 120 feet tall, equal to a 12-story building, and many were already standing before early explorers arrived. Some giant trunks measure nearly 30 feet around, requiring about 10 adults with outstretched arms to fully encircle the base of a single tree. Ocean erosion has carved the sandstone cliffs into deep caves dozens of feet across, with walls now covered in succulents and bright wildflowers. The Cederberg Wilderness lies about 120 miles from Cape Town, a kingdom of red sandstone mazes where strange rock shapes dominate the remote landscape. These rocks are about 450 million years old, formed when the entire region still rested deep beneath the floor of an ancient ocean. Natural forces carved through thick stone walls here, creating giant archways with openings so wide they match the full width of a double-decker bus. The area preserves thousands of ancient rock paintings made with plant resin, forming a vast visual record that stretches across many miles of terrain. Clear pools winding between rock cracks are so transparent that the sand below remains visible even at depths near the height of a 2-story house. This wilderness covers an area about 3 times larger than Paris, yet it receives only modest daily tourism, helping preserve an atmosphere of complete silence. Curving between steep vertical cliffs and roaring ocean waves, Chapman's Peak appears as a bold engineering marvel located along the scenic coast of South Africa. This road, stretching about 5.6 miles, clings to the mountain edge, creating a thin line across a massive landscape of stone and water. Constructed in the early 20th century, this route was once considered an almost impossible transportation project for the engineering technology available during that era. Massive grey mountains hanging directly over the deep blue sea will give you the physical sensation of traveling between the open sky and the ocean. This is a famous setting for global car commercials due to its challenging curves and the dramatic cinematic beauty found along the entire coastal drive. The reputation of Chapman's Peak as one of the most beautiful coastal roads in the world is certainly not an exaggeration by any means. This is West Coast National Park, a destination located about 55 miles north of Cape Town, taking you away from the city into a completely different coastal landscape. This sanctuary covers more than 89,000 acres and surrounds the entire Langebaan water system, which is famous for its very unique and characteristic blue colors. The most prominent highlight here is Langebaan Lagoon, a vast turquoise lagoon kept almost intact by the surrounding coastal ecosystem. The calm, pale blue water here possesses an unreal beauty as it reflects the vast sky like a giant natural mirror. With more than 250 bird species recorded, this place has become one of the best locations for bird watching in South Africa. You should stay for a long time by the lagoon to observe the watercolors constantly changing with each light rhythm and the rising and falling of the tide. Mokambati Nature Reserve stretches along the wild coast of Eastern Cape across more than 19,000 acres, where gigantic coastal cliffs and the violent ocean remain almost completely untouched. The reserve became globally famous because of its white waterfalls plunging directly into the ocean, an extremely rare phenomenon found on very few coastlines worldwide. Vast green grasslands extend directly to the cliff edges, making Mokambati feel as if the African plains suddenly end before the open sea. You must remain extremely careful near the cliff edges because powerful waves from the Indian Ocean can suddenly strike the slippery coastal rocks. Makambati was once the homeland of the Pondo people, a community that survived for generations along this isolated and challenging coastline. Makambati's coastal grasslands are also home to more than 200 bird species, together with antelope and zebras, freely moving across the enormous, untamed landscape. Sentinel Peak stands proudly on the South African border as a giant basalt watchtower with an impressive height of 10,380 feet. This independent rock mass serves as the western anchor for a majestic basalt cliff stretching continuously for more than 3 miles. The terrain here is extremely rugged, with sheer cliffs 4,000 feet high that make anyone looking down feel completely overwhelmed. To conquer this high peak, humans must use a steel chain ladder system attached directly to the dramatic vertical cliff face. This land possesses a vast flat plateau, creating a unique geological contrast compared to the deep and gaping abysses below. Sentinel Peak is the starting point for major rivers flowing across the continent and a symbol of wild beauty in the South African region. The Cape of Good Hope stands at the southwestern edge of Africa, where sandstone cliffs rising about 700 feet face the vast ocean directly. This headland supports more than 1,000 unique plant species, creating a concentration of life so rich it surpasses even the widely famous Amazon rainforest. Beneath the cold sea lie about 3,000 shipwrecks, forming a submerged trail of ruins nearly 40 miles long across this entire dangerous coastline. Massive waves as tall as a 10-story building often rise here because of the violent meeting of 2 major ocean currents there on Earth. The legend of the Flying Dutchman, a ghost ship cursed forever, began in these fierce waters that have long been feared by sailors for centuries. The sight of ostriches standing nearly 7 feet tall and calmly crossing bright white sands gives this coast an unusually wild natural image even today. A Table Mountain fica na cidade do Cabo, na África do Sul, destacando-se como um enorme bloco de granito com topo plano. Com idade superior a 260 milhões de anos, esse pico é 6 vezes mais antigo que o Himalaia. A flora local é tão rica que uma pequena área reúne mais espécies vegetais que toda a diversidade biológica do Reino Unido. Pequenos hírexes das rochas vivem nas falésias áridas e carregam códigos genéticos próximos aos dos enormes elefantes atuais. Esse marco possui a honra única de ser o único lugar da Terra com uma constelação inteira batizada em seu nome. Lendas locais dizem que as nuvens brancas descendo pelo cume seriam fumaça de uma disputa entre marinheiro e diabo. The Valley of Desolation lies in the heart of the Karoo, where towering rock columns were formed as molten lava once forced its way upward through the earth. These giant stone towers rise about 400 feet into the air, giving them a scale close to that of a modern 40-story building. The erosive power of nature spent about 190 million years shaping this hard skeletal landscape, leaving behind rock formations that seem to resist destruction. From these grey cliffs, the view can extend nearly 60 miles across broad, flat plains that continue outward until they finally fade into the horizon. Narrow ravines winding between this permanent forest of stone create dark and mysterious spaces where direct sunlight rarely manages to reach the hidden ground. If every stone column here were stacked together, their combined height would rise far beyond the summit of Mount Everest in the mighty Himalayan range. The Richtersveld Heritage Area lies in the remote northwestern corner of South Africa, opening a world of rock where people and hardy plants survive together. The mountains here hold geological ages of about 2 billion years, equal to nearly half the age of our planet as scientists understand it today. More than 4,800 succulent species live in this land, creating a natural botanical garden with the greatest density found anywhere on Earth. Traditional dome-shaped huts covered with reed mats can be taken apart and moved within only 2 hours by the nomadic people living here today. A strange half-human tree with curled leaf tips looks like silent ghosts marching across steep grey limestone slopes within this harsh desert landscape there. Deep valleys hide ancient drawings carved directly into rock surfaces, preserving spiritual messages left by ancestors thousands of years ago in remarkable silence below there. The Namaqualand flower route stretches across the semi-desert lands of western South Africa, where the first seasonal rains awaken an entire kingdom of sleeping plant life. More than 3,500 plant species burst into bloom together, creating a floral carpet spread across an area larger than the whole country of Belgium. Nearly 40% of the flowers living along this route are unique species found nowhere else on Earth beyond this remarkable region. Within just 11 square feet of desert soil, thousands of hardy seeds lie hidden, waiting for their single chance each year to rise. God's Window in the Drakensberg Mountains of Mpumalanga is where sandstone cliffs suddenly drop away, forming a gigantic natural window above the landscape. At the edge of the abyss, the ground disappears into a depth of about 3,000 feet, 3 times higher than France's Eiffel Tower. A small rainforest grows directly on the rocky summit, holding a species density 10 times greater than the ordinary grasslands around it. The view here stretches so widely that visitors can see nearly 120 miles across the border toward Mozambique on clear days. This unreal-looking landmark was once chosen as a main setting for the globally known comedy film The Gods Must Be Crazy. Galagadi Transfrontier Park stretches across the northern borderlands of South Africa, where glowing red dunes curve endlessly and create a landscape that resembles a permanent sea of fire. Covering more than 9 million acres, this cross-border reserve is roughly the same size as the entire country of Belgium in Europe. The main riverbeds here are almost always dry, and real flowing water usually appears only about once in every 100 years. Local weaver birds build enormous communal nests, weighing up to about 2,000 pounds, heavy enough to cover and even break the branches of large old trees. This region is a stronghold for the legendary black-maned lion, a powerful animal known for its large body and uniquely commanding appearance. Cheetahs here often launch high-speed chases at more than 60 miles per hour across the dry, open flats of ancient river channels. Kruger National Park stands as the largest natural reserve in South Africa, covering over 4.9 million acres of wild land untouched by urban development. This territory is famous for protecting some of the world's largest populations of African elephants and wild rhinos within a vast and naturally preserved environment. The park remains one of the few places where you can still observe the rare big tuskers, majestic elephants possessing exceptionally massive and heavy ivory tusks. Untamed. As part of a transfrontier park, it allows animals to follow ancient migration paths across the national borders of Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and South Africa today. During the dry season, remaining waterholes become intense survival arenas, where predators and prey face each other directly under the heat of the sun. In the Pafuri Triangle, you can walk through golden fever tree forests to experience the raw biodiversity where 3 different African nations meet in nature. Staying at wild campsites allows you to listen to the deep sounds of the night, from animal calls to the wind blowing across open savannas. Located where South Africa, Botswana, and Zimbabwe meet, Mapungubwe remains a silent, semi-desert territory guarding the profound secrets of an ancient and powerful African kingdom from centuries ago. Spanning over 70,000 acres, the terrain is defined by parched grasslands, rugged sandstone ridges, and the Limpopo River, flowing steadily across the wide and dusty plains. Mapungubwe Hill stands firmly with its signature red hues, appearing like a formidable fortress carved by nature itself in the heart of this sun-drenched and wild savanna. The name is traditionally interpreted as the place of stone wisdom, honoring a sophisticated civilization that once commanded trade and wealth across the vast southern African interior. The golden rhinoceros of Mapungubwe, recovered from these burial sites, stands as a priceless national treasure, proving the exceptional goldsmithing skills of people living here long ago. Standing within this vast and quiet landscape, you might feel as though you have stepped back into a world where time remains frozen in the ancient rocks. Isimangaliso Wetland Park remains one of the most diverse coastal ecosystems in Africa, where lakes, swamps, savannas, and wild beaches exist together in perfect natural harmony. Stretching approximately 136 miles along the South African coast, this massive wetland appears like a vast green labyrinth when viewed from high above. Long white beaches, sitting beside lush forests and dark lagoons, create a wild landscape defined by strong visual contrasts and a sense of deep isolation. This protected region supports over 6,500 species of plants and animals, including hundreds of bird species living within their native coastal habitats. You must always maintain a safe distance from hippos and crocodiles because they can react with extreme aggression if you approach their territory too closely. This site demonstrates that the true beauty of South Africa lies not only within the savanna, but also across these wild and remote coastal waters. Boulders Beach is globally famous for its colony of African penguins living and thriving right among the massive granite boulders along the scenic coastal shoreline. The penguin colony first appeared here in 1982, growing rapidly from just 2 original breeding pairs into a significantly large and healthy local population. The landscape offers striking contrasts with white sand, blue water, and smooth granite rocks sitting alongside these small, black and white creatures in nature. Giant boulders create narrow crevices and small bays, providing a powerful visual depth that resembles a natural stone labyrinth located right by the deep ocean. Watching penguins walk across the white sand and through rocky gaps creates a unique and lively atmosphere characteristic of the wild South African coast. You must maintain a safe distance, because these penguins can react aggressively if they feel that their nesting area is being directly threatened by visitors. Appearing brilliantly amidst the eastern highlands of South Africa, Golden Gate Highlands impresses visitors with golden sandstone cliffs stretching across the vast and open scenic horizon. You will see rock formations changing colors every hour, shifting from honey yellow to burnt orange and deep reddish brown as the warm sunlight slowly fades away. Covering about 130 square miles, this park is a magnificent geological world containing an incredibly diverse and rich ecosystem for everyone to explore and enjoy. Within the Ruidrai area, in 1973, scientists discovered fossilized dinosaur eggs, marking one of the most significant and vital paleontological finds in all of South Africa. The Brandwag Formation is not just a rock, but a natural fortress standing in the valley, giving you the feeling of facing a majestic, ancient stone monument. Traveling through these highlands offers a unique experience, like driving between massive stone walls that represent an ancient and preserved geological slice of the entire Earth. Three Rondavels are three massive rock formations located on the edge of Blyde River Canyon, which is among the largest green canyons in the entire world. This is an unimaginable viewpoint in South Africa, where you can see three giant rocks standing like sentinels directly on the edge of the world. Local people call this place the Chief and His Three Wives, with the flat-topped peak nearby representing a famous historical chief, known as Mapjaneng. The names of the three wives are Magabulie, Mogaladikwe, and Masaroto, which are names deeply connected to the local history and oral stories of this land. The vertical cliffs here have a height difference of over 2,300 feet from the floor below, easily creating a strong feeling of dizziness. You will clearly feel how small humans are compared to the true scale of nature while standing before these massive and ancient natural stone structures. A grand legacy of the Great Diamond Rush in Kimberley is the Big Hole, known as the largest hand-dug excavation ever created in the entire world. Originally reaching a depth of 787 feet, the visible portion now measures about 705 feet, due to partial filling. Viewed from above, it resembles a massive circular abyss, with still blue water at the bottom, contrasting sharply with the surrounding modern urban landscape. At the Kimberley Mine Museum, you can enter replica tunnels and discover how an entire city rose quickly from the intense global diamond rush. Old buildings and vintage cars around the pit create a space that perfectly recreates Victorian life in the heart of the Northern Cape province. Located near Beaufort West in the Western Cape Karoo National Park, sits directly on the main route between the cities of Cape Town and Johannesburg. Established in the 1980s, this protected area has grown from 81,000 acres to approximately 222,000 acres, according to recent records. The San people have long called this region the Land of Great Thirst, a name that perfectly captures its harsh dryness and majestic scale. Karoo possesses a cold beauty, featuring open plains, dark rocks, and a sky so vast that it feels like it stretches away forever into infinity. This ground preserves evidence of the most devastating mass extinction in history, marking the painful transition of life from the Permian to the Triassic period. This park remains one of the best places in South Africa for you to observe the night sky due to the total lack of light pollution. Tankwa Karoo National Park lies between Northern Cape and Western Cape, where dry stone plains stretch beneath South Africa's enormous open skies. Tankwa carries an extremely minimal beauty, with low shrubs, distant mesa mountains, and dirt roads fading into endless open land. The region protects about 1,500 plant species from the succulent Karoo ecosystem, adapted to severe dry conditions. Tankwa also became famous as one of South Africa's best locations for night sky observation because of almost zero light pollution. After rare rainfall, the entire dry landscape can rapidly shift colors across the plains and distant low mountain ranges. Driving through this silent semi-desert creates a strong feeling of the near-complete isolation of South Africa's interior wilderness. Cape Vidal in South Africa is the only place on Earth where 5 distinct ecosystems coexist on a narrow strip of coastal land. This destination impresses visitors with massive dunes over 490 feet high, covered by lush green vegetation all year round. Beneath the crystal-clear water lies the home of the ancient coelacanth fish, once thought to have been extinct for 65 million years. The white sand beaches stretching for hundreds of miles are the most important sites for 2,000-pound leatherback turtles to maintain their species. Travelers can observe leopards hunting right on the shore, or see humpback whales breaching a few hundred feet from the mainland. The combination of primary rainforest and the vast ocean has turned Cape Vidal into a truly incredible and wild natural wonder. Umhlanga Rocks, located in the northern province of KwaZulu-Natal, is where the warm Agulhas current flows close to shore, creating a vibrant tropical ecosystem. The red and white lighthouse, standing 69 feet tall, operates tirelessly here with a visibility range of 24 miles to warn ships. An architectural structure shaped like a giant whalebone stretching out to the sea is the most unique and spectacular highlight of this destination. This place possesses million-year-old sandstone rocks rising high above the water surface, creating natural tide pools filled with marine life. Visitors can observe humpback whales weighing dozens of tons migrating right next to the rugged and wild coastline of this incredible area. The combination of ancient sand dune forests and the warm waters of the Indian Ocean has turned Umhlanga rocks into a breathtaking natural wonder. Cathedral Peak stands proudly in the KwaZulu-Natal province of South Africa, with an independent shape like a giant watchtower amidst the majestic nature. This mountain possesses an impressive height of 9,856 feet above sea level and is made of basalt. The special geological structure with vertical cliffs has created an unusual appearance that looks exactly like the architecture of ancient cathedrals. This area preserves thousands of ancient rock paintings of the Sand People dating back 3,000 years, located in various caves. The ecosystem here is extremely rich, with many rare flowers and plants that only grow in these high-terrain areas. Visitors often admire the spectacular landscape from the sharp stone peaks rising high, because Cathedral Peak is part of the Drakensberg Mountains, which is the highest mountain range in South Africa. Champagne Castle stands in South Africa as a majestic natural stone fortress with an absolute peak reaching 11,079 feet. This massive basalt cliff was formed from violent volcanic eruptions spanning over 180 million years of geological history. The unique terrain structure creates a vertical wall 4,500 feet thick, completely separating the inland plateau from the plains. The alpine ecosystem here preserves rare plant species along with the bearded vulture, which has a wingspan of up to 9 feet. Mysterious caves around the mountain protect thousands of ancient rock paintings representing a World Cultural Heritage Site. Champagne Castle possesses pristine beauty with dragon-scale-shaped rock formations and waterfalls plunging straight down into the deep abyss. Nambiti Private Game Reserve in KwaZulu-Natal is a wild paradise covering 22,000 acres that carries profound historical values and outstanding biological diversity. This destination possesses one of the highest animal densities in South Africa, with the full Big Five group and over 40 species of large mammals living naturally. The most special landscape highlight is the Sundays River, flowing through the heart of the reserve, creating two majestic waterfalls reaching 131 feet. The intersection of four distinct ecosystems helps this area maintain over 280 rare bird species alongside thriving cheetah populations. A solid conservation fence system extending over 62 miles ensures an absolutely safe space for both the wildlife and visiting guests. Nambiti Private Game Reserve is also famous for being a malaria-free land, helping visitors comfortably explore truly impressive and authentic wilderness experiences. Deep within the rugged Swartberg Mountains of South Africa lies the Untouched Kango Caves, a majestic underground world sculpted by nature over millions of years of history. This largest show cave system in Africa began forming approximately 20 million years ago through a slow and continuous process of geological erosion. Within the earth are massive halls containing limestone pillars reaching 30 feet high that have been built up over hundreds of thousands of years. Glistening calcite crystals create a spectacular landscape surrounding natural passages that stretch for more than 2.5 miles beneath the surface. The terrain is extremely challenging with narrow rock crevices, forcing people to squeeze through gaps only 11 inches wide during their adventurous exploration. The natural grandeur of the Kango Caves makes this site a unique geological wonder that attracts explorers and visitors from all over the world. Viewed from afar, Roberg Nature Reserve appears like a giant stone blade piercing the Indian Ocean along the windswept and sunny Garden Route coastal road. Standing before the steep vertical cliffs and violent crashing waves, you will clearly feel the raw beauty of an infinite and completely unobstructed horizon. Every step along the trails will lead you from one surprise to another as the deep blue ocean continuously changes its appearance and colors. Hidden behind the harsh exterior are caves preserving traces of human ancestral habitation dating back to approximately 120,000 years ago. Early Cretaceous rock layers reaching ages of 130 million years have created a magnificent slice of time right beside the coastline. This is also a place where you can observe Cape Fur seals and schools of dolphins swimming freely in the waters surrounding the peninsula. Pringle Bay, located in South Africa, is a rare north-facing coastline that offers a direct and majestic view toward the famous Cape Point. The most impressive highlight of this area is a towering mountain standing 1,401 feet high, forming a massive wall. This place serves as the heart of a biosphere reserve containing over 1,800 unique plant species from the Cape Floral Kingdom. The distinctiveness of this destination comes from a fenceless lifestyle that allows wild leopards and monkeys to roam freely down to the sea. From June to December, southern right whales, weighing 130,000 pounds, frequently swim close to the shore to perform their breeding process. The ecosystem at Pringle Bay coastline is a perfect combination of 400-million-year-old cliffs and the tea-colored Buffles River. The Quiver Tree Forest in the Northern Cape of South Africa is a massive colony of giant aloe plants growing among impressive black boulders. These strange organisms reach an average height of about 30 feet and possess an incredible lifespan of more than 200 years. The trunks contain special porous fibrous tissues that help them store thousands of gallons of water to survive through years of severe drought. The outer bark is covered with brilliant white scales that reflect heat to protect the internal cells from damage. The branches always split into symmetrical Y shapes, creating perfect circular canopies that look like natural sculptures. This location has been recognized as a South African national monument because it possesses a unique ecosystem found nowhere else. In South Africa's Western Cape, De Hoop Nature Reserve covers about 84,000 acres and is famous for whales close to shore. Visitors can stand on high dunes to watch southern right whales return for breeding from June to November. The reserve belongs to the Cape Floral Region, a UNESCO World Heritage Area with about 9,000 plant species and high endemism. Its scenery shifts between white dunes, limestone coast low, fynbos, vegetation, inland water, and open sea. The protected marine zone stretches about 32 miles along the coast, sheltering whales, dolphins, sea turtles, and many fish species. At one time, up to 350 southern right whales were recorded together, creating an unusually dense whale gathering near shore. Timbavati Private Nature Reserve in South Africa opens across 206 square miles, where white lions once drew worldwide attention. This reserve is famous for the Big Five, including lions, leopards, elephants, buffalo, and rhinos in an open wild environment. Fences were removed in 1993, allowing animals to move freely across wider habitats instead of staying inside narrow boundaries. Timbavati has more than 40 mammal species, 75 reptile species, and about 360 bird species. Its landscape combines grassland bush, open woodland, and dry soil, helping visitors notice animal tracks more easily. White lions in Timbavati are not albino, but a recessive gene variation that can appear from normal colored parents. In Limpopo, Province South Africa, Waterberg biosphere opens into a vast rocky plateau where dry savanna hides a surprisingly rich ecosystem. This biosphere reserve covers about 2,525 square miles, creating a strong feeling of separation from modern urban life. UNESCO records more than 5,500 plant species in Waterberg, a striking number for dry and nutrient-poor land. About 43% of its plants are endemic to southern Africa, giving the area major biological conservation value. Its landscape stands out through sandstone cliffs, wide grasslands, and dry bushveld, forming a plateau that feels harsh yet alive. Waterberg also holds streams and hidden wetlands within dry terrain, making it known as South Africa's Mountain of Water. Whale Coast in South Africa opens along the Atlantic Ocean, where giant whales can appear close to shore during migration season. From June to December, visitors may see southern right whales and humpback whales directly from land. This marine region records at least 37 species of whales and dolphins, making it an important corridor for sea mammals. Mother whales often move near shore to give birth and raise calves, creating rare viewing without traveling far offshore. The landscape combines cliffs, beaches, coastal mountains, and open ocean, forming a clear and recognizable ecological setting. In 2014, Whale Coast was recognized by Mission Blue as a hope spot, covering more than 124 miles of coastline. Coffee Bay lies along the Indian Ocean in Eastern Cape, South Africa, opening into a wild coast with cliffs, grassy hills, and strong waves. This place is known for surfing, coastal walking, and hosts a community life, creating a feeling far from modern beach resorts. Coffee Bay stands out because sand hillsides and cliffs sit close together, making the coastline rugged and unpredictable. The name Coffee Bay is believed to come from a coffee shipwreck when coffee beans once washed onto the shore. The area still has low urban density, so visitors see natural landforms instead of large hotels or crowded buildings. Cliffs, shaped constantly by waves and wind, create strange cuts in the rock, giving Coffee Bay an unusually raw appearance. Giant's Castle is a majestic peak in the Drakensberg of KwaZulu-Natal, reaching approximately 10,869 feet into the vast South African sky. The scenery here is crafted from bold, contrasting colors with lush green grass, golden sandstone cliffs, and white clouds flowing over the summit like smoke. This area is not only a natural wonder, but is also world-renowned for San Rock art, one of the most important ancient spiritual archives in southern Africa. The name Giant's Castle comes from the distinct profile of its peaks, as the entire mountain mass resembles the silhouette of a sleeping giant resting among the wilderness. Located deep beneath the ground of South Africa's Limpopo province, Echo Caves stands as one of the oldest limestone cave systems in the world today. This natural wonder was formed from massive dolomite rocks with an incredibly impressive age of approximately 3,800,000,000 years. This special terrain system features vast natural galleries with stone ceilings reaching up to 197 feet below the surface. The greatest difference comes from wild fig tree roots that pierce through hard rock to reach 400 feet deep for underground water. The unique karst geological structure has created magnificent stalactites and stalagmites capable of transmitting signals for many miles away. Echo Caves is not only a survival fortress for prehistoric humans, but also a vivid testament to the grand creation of the Earth. Kagakama, located in the Cederberg Mountains of South Africa, is a wild land possessing extremely majestic red sandstone rock formations. These geological structures here have undergone harsh natural erosion for 130 million years to create unique shapes. This vast nature reserve covers an area of 37,000 acres with a typical arid ecosystem, including many rare plants. The night sky here reaches level 1 on the darkness scale, helping humans observe the Milky Way clearly without any equipment. Ancient cliffs still preserve mineral paintings by prehistoric people with a historical dating of more than 6,000 years. The entire Kagakama area currently operates completely on solar energy to preserve its primitive beauty and total isolation. Located near the Mozambique border in northern South Africa, Cozy Bay is a magical system of 4 interlocking lakes stretching 11 miles long. The most spectacular highlight is the V-shaped wooden fish traps of the Thonga people with a sustainable history of over 700 years. These handmade structures are intelligently designed to only capture large fish, helping to preserve the ecosystem for many centuries. Raffia palms thrive here, with giant leaves reaching 60 feet long, holding the record as the plant species with the longest leaves. Mafadi Peak stands proudly on the border between South Africa and Lesotho as the highest point of this entire nation. This land possesses majestic basalt cliffs, originating from volcanic eruptions that occurred 180 million years ago. With an official elevation reaching 11,319 feet, this landmark creates a panoramic view down to the deep valleys. The ecosystem here is very special, with rare bird species soaring around the grass carpets and cold-resistant shrubs. To conquer this summit, humans must undertake a walking journey lasting over a round-trip distance of about 40 miles. Frozen rock pools and absolute silence turn this place into one of the most pristine lands on the planet. Imagine an isolated valley hidden deep within the Olifants River Mountains of South Africa, where Beaverlac remains tucked away between towering cliffs. The terrain here is covered by ancient sandstone formations dating back more than 400 million years with extremely strange shapes. The power of the water flow has eroded the hard rock faces to create a system of natural pools with depths of more than 15 feet. This area possesses a very rare fynbos ecosystem with native riverbells flowers that cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. Visitors coming here must accept the state of having absolutely no cell phone signal to enjoy the total separation from the outside world. Ancient rock paintings created by early humans inside the caves serve as evidence for the long history of this majestic Beaverlac wilderness. Mount Oxsources, standing at the border of South Africa and Lesotho, is an ancient basalt massif formed from intense and violent volcanic eruptions. This landmark possesses a massive vertical cliff stretching approximately 3 miles with an incredible height of over 3,000 feet. This is the only starting point on Earth, providing water for 3 major river systems flowing toward 2 completely different oceans. From the peak higher than 10,000 feet, the water falls to create a majestic waterfall with a total measured height of 3,110 feet. The unique geological structure transforms the mountain into a wild land carrying the most magnificent beauty within the entire Drakensberg range. Pa'aral Mountain, located about 37 miles northeast of Cape Town, is an ancient and astonishing geological wonder. This landmark is globally famous for possessing a giant exposed granite monolith with an age determined by scientists to be over 500 million years. The entire vast nature reserve surrounding the mountain covers an area of 4,700 acres with an extremely diverse ecosystem. Visitors will witness rare native vegetation growing alternately on the smooth silver-grey rock surfaces that stretch out endlessly. In the Eastern Cape of South Africa, Kamdaboo National Park emerges as a fascinating geological masterpiece with majestic ancient rock structures. The most impressive highlight is the vertical dolerite columns rising 394 feet high amidst a vast, open space. These giant rock pillars, formed from magma intrusion deep underground, and were heavily eroded over 200 million years. The rugged terrain, with vertical cliffs, creates a natural fortress protecting the rare flora and fauna ecosystem of the region. The combination of massive geological scale and untouched beauty makes Kamdaboo National Park a premier symbol of magnificent nature. Wildest National Park in South Africa opens a rare natural area where forest lakes, rivers, estuaries, and beaches exist together. You can hike, watch birds, paddle boats, and explore water landscapes that keep changing with the lake levels. The wetland system linked to wilderness is recognized under Ramsar, proving its major international ecological value. This landscape is not defined by high mountains, but by water networks connecting forest sand and bird habitats. The former wilderness area recorded 262 bird species, showing remarkable biological density in a coastal national park. Monthly water bird numbers once ranged from 4,841 to 24,427, reflecting a system shaped by changing water conditions. Lothini Nature Reserve in South Africa opens a remote Drakensberg mountain area, where high grasslands, deep valleys and cliffs stretch together. You come here to hike through a less commercial landscape where trails lead into wide and rugged mountain terrain. The reserve covers about 9,845 acres, protecting grasslands, water rocky slopes, and several mountain habitats. The Maloti Drakensberg landscape is recognized by UNESCO for mountain scenery, biodiversity, and ancient cultural value still preserved there. Sani Pass cuts through South Africa's mountains, famous for a 6-mile, four-wheel drive road climbing to 9,436 feet. This pass puts drivers under pressure with loose gravel, steep slopes, and repeated hairpin bends along the mountain edge. Some sections reach a 1-to-3 gradient, forcing vehicles to use low gears for traction and control. The scenery changes sharply from grassy slopes to cliffs, deep valleys, bare rock, and open highland terrain above. Since 1949, Jeeps began crossing Sani Pass, starting the motor travel era on this dangerous mountain route. Old Grabies Falls lies on the Orange River in South Africa's Northern Cape, celebrated as a violent natural anthem where rushing water collides with ancient granite. Here, the broad river is forced through a rocky gap only about 60 feet wide, creating crushing pressure that tears through everything ahead. Dropping about 180 feet, the waterfall looks like an 18-story tower, pouring enormous white ribbons into the dark chasm below there. During historic floods, water flow here reached nearly 500,000 cubic feet per second, about 3 times stronger than Niagara Falls in North America. Local legend says the abyss beneath the falls hides millions of diamonds swept away and secretly buried by the river in darkness below. Brightly colored lizards often appear on the smooth rock walls, adding a vivid touch of life to this harsh landscape of stone there. Burke's Luck Potholes is located in Mpumalanga province, forming an ancient sandstone maze, shaped by the powerful meeting of 2 rivers. Strong whirlpools have drilled into the rocky riverbed, creating holes about 100 feet deep, equal to a 10-story building. Millions of lucky coins glitter at the bottom of the holes, forming a bright silver layer inside nature's giant money pouch. A vivid palette from burnt orange rock to emerald water creates a grand scene, often linked with America's Grand Canyon. The smooth, cylindrical pothole system spreads across geology about 2 billion years old, formed before the first coral reefs appeared on Earth. Each year, about 500,000 visitors come here, enough to fill 10 of the world's largest stadiums while viewing this geological wonder. Sudwala Caves are located in Mpumalanga, near Mbombela, within the Mankalekele Mountains of South Africa, representing one of the most ancient cave systems found on Earth today. Built upon dolomite rock dating back 2.8 billion years, Sudwala sits firmly on some of the oldest and most primitive geological layers of this planet. The interior space features massive stone pillars and deep chambers that create the physical sensation of entering a vast maze hidden deep inside a prehistoric mountain range. Samson's Pillar remains one of the most iconic geological formations at Sudwala, allowing you to easily identify the unique structure of this ancient subterranean world during tours. Sudwala remains one of the few places in South Africa where you can directly enter and explore geological structures that are hundreds of millions of years old. The name Sudwala is linked to an Induna called Sudwala, who historically guarded the cave entrance during the violent 19th century conflict between Somkuba and King Mswati.